Spacious air, reflecting the way of life under the Florida sky. Even the lobbies funnel in the great outdoors.
Chosen.
I was set apart for God's use.
Chosen.
I was set apart for God's use. Formed in His image.
Chosen. They say the chain of Shaitan is not that strong. They say his time is running out, he ain't got that long. They say murder, murder, kill, this is not that song. Said I won't amount to nothing, they got that wrong. Cause I was set apart and I was shown the light. And if I get the kingdom, I'll be clothed in white. 1/3 will be delivered and the rest were blinded. Their fate is set in stone, what you ain't read the fine print? Christ is gonna give a crown to us. In the end we'll have the nations bowing down to us, with their faces to the ground to us. It's the truth, as crazy as it sounds to us. Jacob forever rules, and we're his precious jewels. Showed us love and patience, put us above the nations. And that's the gospel, thank God for choosing me. Bad news for you, it's really good news for me.
I was set apart for God's use.
Chosen.
I was set apart for God's use. Formed in His image.
Let me tell you why. We have a different kind of shine, a different kind of mind. The rhythm's not the same, we're on a different type of time. With a different kind of pace, a different kind of race. The season's not the same, we have a different kind of taste. A different kind of salt, we are so not them. Got my sword and my shield, man, I'm so locked in. And when I came to serve Yahweh, put my whole heart in. So I can't sit calm, I'm no Martin. And that's a reach, y'all, chosen to teach y'all. Every Sabbath you can find us in the streets, y'all. Danyaahla, my nickname is Priest, y'all. In the gym, they say that I'm a beast, y'all. Set apart, the nations all hate me. Set a trap, they lying in wait for me. Chris Paul, they don't wanna play with me. But if you love me, I'm asking that you pray with me. Cause
I was set apart for God's use.
Chosen.
I was set apart for God's use. Formed in His image.
Chosen. And thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God have chosen thee to be a special people, chosen above all people that's on the face of the earth. That's Deuteronomy 7 and 6. That's you, black and Latin man. Chosen. That's you, black and Latin woman. Yeah. But we the chosen. Chosen. Well, alrighty then. And welcome to another edition of Maccabeestv TV. It is your brother, Priest Danyaahla, representing Lions of Israel, representing Maccabeestv TV. Welcome to another edition of our show. How is everyone doing? I'm praying and hoping that everyone is doing well. All praises. Okay, give me 1 second. I just got something here. Yeah. Okay, all praises. 1 second, y'all. 1 second. Yeah, so hopefully everybody's doing well. Y'all pardon me for 1 second. Yeah, welcome to this edition of our show. Let me just give a couple of shout outs to the people that are in the house. I know it's been a while since I went live on this channel. I haven't been consistent on this channel, I would say, for most summer and the fall, because I've been doing other stuff. But let's see who's in the house real quick. Another impromptu video. Edwin Shivers, Anthony Scott, Lewis, Marty, Sandy Ferg, Deontay, Denai Shamgar, Shalom. to everybody and everybody that's going to watch this video in the future. So you brothers and sisters already know the etiquette as you come into the house. If you guys would be so kind as to hit the like button, you know that will trigger the algorithm so that more people can get the notification, and it'll also appear in people's recommendations in the future should they watch this video. Also, shout out to everybody that's watching the video on Facebook as well. Shout out to y'all. Same thing goes over there. Make sure you guys hit the like button, and if you want to comment or anything like that, you have to actually come over to YouTube. All right. Y'all pardon me. I'm on y'all already in the building. I'm on the second job right now. It's a little dark in the background. That's the way I wanted it. Y'all can see me, so it's all good. And anyway, y'all not really going to be looking at me. I'm going to be sharing my screen just to share a little bit of information with the family for those that's over here, because people have been asking me. So I'm going to share the information. I'm not going to be before you guys too long, but I'm going to share the information with you guys here now, and then the people that watch later can get the information as well. So about a week ago, I went live on this channel, right? And in the midst of my live, I was actually showing you brothers and sisters a couple of slides in a PowerPoint presentation that I have. And all of a sudden, we had a power outage because we had a bad storm last week. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to show you brothers and sisters those slides that we missed last week. And I'm going to show you brothers and sisters another piece of valuable information that will definitely help you as you proliferate this word and teach. This piece of information will definitely help you. Just bear with me 1 second if you could, family. I got to look for this PowerPoint so I can open it up for you, so we can get right to the business. Right to the business. There we go. All praise to the Most High. Boom. There it is. Okay. So let me just give you guys a little bit of a monologue real quick, and then we're going to go right into the video. So as I've been mentioning to you, I joined an app called Clubhouse about a month now, maybe, give or take. And I like Clubhouse, right? Because it's almost like, I don't know if you want to call it like the radio, whatever like that, because it's an audio only app. And you're on the app and they have what is called a hallway. And you can scroll up and down the hallway and you have different rooms. And every room there's a different conversation going on with people all over the world. So obviously when you join the app, you put in your interest in the app, and it gives you, rooms and stuff like that are kind of along your interests. So of course I wound up in a lot of these biblical rooms, as well as the biblical rooms that the Israelites on Clubhouse have created. And there have been a lot of conversations on the Clubhouse app. And one of the things that I'm noticing is that the Christians, and I'm not saying every Christian, because you do have some Christians that actually study and research, but for the most part, the Christians on Clubhouse make a lot of accusations and show very little proof to substantiate their accusations. And so I've been saying some things on Clubhouse to these Christians, and of course they scoff. And unfortunately, because it's only a audio app, right, I can't demonstrate the things that I've been saying on Clubhouse. But for those of y'all that actually follow me on Clubhouse, and for those of y'all that just want to learn in general, I'm going to show you, brothers and sisters, some of the things that I've been saying on Clubhouse to these Christians, because these things are very, very, very important. So again, for those of y'all that's just coming in the house, just make sure you guys hit the like button. If you're a hater, hit the dislike button. It doesn't matter to me. The algorithm is triggered either way. John Robinson, Michael Rivera, Northern Kingdom Alliance of HOI, shalom to you, shalom, 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 shalom. So without further ado, I'm just going to go right into this information. You brothers, hopefully you'll find this information valuable, and feel free to utilize this information to your benefit. So I made some claims. One of the arguments that we as Israelites have with the Christians is this whole doctrine about hell, right? You know that. The Christians believe that when you die, you either go to the spiritual heaven or you go down to a place called hell where you're burning forever. That's what they believe. And how do the Christians substantiate that doctrine of hell? They substantiate that doctrine of hell by reading from the book of Luke, the 16th chapter. That's their favorite passage to read. Luke chapter 16. So on the app, we've been trying to explain to these Christians that Luke 16 is a parable. It's not literal. But they swear up and down that it's literal, and they will curse you out, up and down, all over the app that you don't know what you're talking about. It's a literal place, and Luke 16 is literal. I'm going to demonstrate to you, brothers and sisters, why it is that these Christians don't study. And I'm going to demonstrate for you, brothers and sisters, if you have not already seen this, that Luke 16 is a parable, and the Bible tells you it's a parable. It tells you. Yes, the Bible tells you that Luke 16 is a parable. Now, you might be like, what are you talking about, brother? I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. Okay. So, let me share my screen. I'm going to share my whole entire screen so that way I don't have to toggle. Oops. I'm going to share my whole entire screen so that way I don't have to toggle between screens, because I'm going to be showing a whole lot of stuff. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and share the whole thing. So you guys bear with me, right? Now I'm going to take myself out the shot. Okay. And we're going to come to, so I made a statement on the Clubhouse app. Let me stop for a second. I made a statement on the Clubhouse app. I said chapters and verses are a recent addition to the Bible. Recent. Now I'm going to demonstrate that. And chapters and verses, because they exist, a lot of times doctrines, false doctrines, come out because chapters and verses were added to the Bible. And if you don't understand these things, you'll wind up in the midst of a false doctrine. Let's go ahead. Let's get right to the information now. Okay. I'm going to show you guys two different sites that say the same thing. First website we're going to come to is Wikipedia, because this seems to be people's favorite website, right? So the article is titled Chapters and Verses of the Bible, right? So let's come down to the portion right here that says verses. Let's get right to the point. The very last paragraph says this. Listen very carefully. The first English New Testament to use the verse division was the 1557 translation by William Whittingham in 1524 to 1579. The first Bible in English to use both chapters and verses was the Geneva Bible, published shortly afterwards in 1560. This is what I've been trying to tell the Christians on Clubhouse. The only reason why you have chapters and verses in our English Bible today is because they were added to the Geneva Bible in the year 1560. And when chapters and verses were added to the Bible, a lot of people separate one chapter from another, when actually there are many cases in the New Testament where chapters are building off of each other. And there is no separation between those chapters other than the fact that they were added in for you and I to conveniently be able to find passages. That's the only reason why chapters and verses were added, for our modern convenience. But unfortunately, because they were added, the Christians have come up with doctrines. That's what we're trying to tell them. So chapters and verses, both of which were added to the Geneva Bible in the year 1560. So no, I didn't make that up when I said it on Clubhouse. I'm demonstrating where I got that from. Now, from there, I'm going to close this tab, right? And I'm going to come to this website right here, because this is a favorite website of everybody. Israelites, Christians, everybody uses the Blue Letter Bible. Did you guys know this article was on the Blue Letter Bible website? If not, now you know. You can go and do your own research. We're going to do a little reading. Give me 1 second. All right. It says, why is the Bible divided into chapters and verses, right? This is from the Blue Letter Bible, okay? Let me, if you guys don't mind, it's a little small, so I'm going to go ahead and big it up a little bit. There you go, much better. Okay. It says, there were no chapter or verse divisions in the original Bible. When the books of the Bible were originally written, there were no such things as chapters or verses. Each book was written without any breaks from the beginning to the end. Consequently, there are a number of important observations that need to be made about the present chapter and verse divisions that we find in Scripture. That's exactly correct. The chapter and verse divisions that were added to the Bible in the year 1560 interfere sometimes with the context of what you're reading. Because as I mentioned, sometimes one chapter is building off the chapter that is before it. That's very, very important to understand. And so what happens is, especially when you get to the epistles of Paul, but really the gospels as well, but the epistles of Paul more, because the Bible is separated into chapters and verses, a lot of people separate certain things from each other that don't need to be separated, and that's where you get doctrines from. That's where you get doctrines from. Now, let's continue. Point number 2. It says the books have been divided into chapters and verses for convenience. That's what I said. So that you can find, can you imagine if the whole entire book of Psalms was not divided into chapters and verses? How would you find stuff? Psalms 119 alone. Look how many verses is in Psalms 119. How would you find anything? You wouldn't. So it's a modern convenience. Let's continue reading. Slaki, I'm just drinking a little water. My throat is dry. The chapter and verse divisions were added to the Bible for the sake of convenience. There is no authoritative basis for the divisions we now find. They're not authoritative. They're just there for your convenience. That's what I keep trying to say. That's why I keep emphasizing that, because sometimes they interfere with the context, like in the case of Luke 16, which I'm about to show y'all. Luke 16 is a parable, and the Bible tells you that. The only reason why you can't see it is because Luke 16 is separated from Luke 15, and they're supposed to really be together because it's one thought, one story. I'm going to show you. Let's continue reading. For the greater part of human history, there have been no chapter or verse divisions, right? Let's see. What else do I want to read? Let's come right here. I skipped number 3. Let's come down to number 4. The modern Old Testament division into verses was standardized by the Ben Asher family around 900 AD. However, the practice of dividing the Old Testament books into verses goes back centuries earlier. So the Old Testament was the first part of the Bible that was separated into chapters and verses, and then the New Testament came later. All right. Modern verse division for the New Testament was the work of Robert Stevens, a French printer. He divided the Greek text into verses for his Greek New Testament published in 1551. The first entire Bible in which these chapter and verse divisions were used was Stephen's edition of the Latin Vulgate in 1558. The first English Bible to have both chapter and verse divisions is the Geneva Bible. That's what we just read on Wikipedia. This is saying the same thing. The Geneva Bible of 1560. So that's what you guys are looking at. Now, I'm not going to go and read the rest of this article. You guys can do your own research, right? This is on the Blue Letter Bible website. Now, everybody uses this. Yeah, sometimes we go there and we read the scriptures, but there's some good articles on here too. This is one. And it goes further on in the article. You guys can read about it, and they give you some examples of how sometimes throughout scripture, when things are separated one from another, you lose the context of what's actually happened. And they give some pretty good examples. So when you get a chance, you guys can come and you can do your own research. I'm not going to read this whole article. It is too long. You guys get the gist. So now, understanding what I just showed you, why am I bringing this out? Because again, we were having these arguments for the last month on Clubhouse with Christians, and every time you talk to a new Christian, they want to go to Luke chapter 16, and they want to take Luke 16 literally. So let's go to Luke chapter 16, right? And we're going to come down to, where is it? Luke chapter 16, verse 20. You guys are familiar with this verse, right? Luke 16, verse 20. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate full of sores, and desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. However, moreover, the dogs came and licked the sores. Verse 22. And it came to pass that the beggar died and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. The rich man died and was buried, and in hell he lifted up his eyes, being in torment, and seeth Abraham afar off, and Lazarus in his bosom. Now, for those of us with just a little bit of reasoning and common sense, we know that this is a parable. But the Christians are taking this literal. And they argue us down and see it doesn't say it's a parable. It doesn't say it's a parable. So how do you know it's a parable? It doesn't say it's a parable. Well, I'm going to show you. First clue, and how did I figure this out? I figured this out by reading and looking at a red letter edition Bible. That's why I looked up online a red letter edition Bible, because you see it a lot better in the red letter edition than you do in the black letter edition. Pay attention. Let's start off with Luke chapter 16, verse 1. How does the chapter start? It says, and he said also unto his disciples. And he said also. Also means what? In addition to. So that means that he was saying something before he said what he's about to say. Does everybody understand that? And he said also to his disciples. What is this letting you know in verse number 1? That this chapter at the very beginning is screaming out and telling you that it's building off of the chapter before. I hope nobody's lost, because this is simple stuff. This is simple stuff. And he said also unto his disciples. It's letting you know that this story is building off of the previous chapter. So now we got to go look at the previous chapter, which is Luke chapter 15. Let's start from verse 1. It says, then drew near unto him who? All the publicans and sinners to hear him. And who else? And the Pharisees and the scribes murmured, saying, this man receiveth sinners and eateth with them. So who's in the audience when he's speaking? You had the publicans, you had sinners, you had the Pharisees and the scribes. So what did Christ do? Verse number 3, and he spake this parable unto them. Does everybody see that? So it starts off the chapter letting you know this is a parable. And as you guys go down, everything is in red letters until you get to verse 11. Then it says, and he said. So he's continuing to talk. And then everything else in the chapter is red letters. It's all one story. Then when you get to verse number 32, the chapter ends. So you come to chapter 16, and it starts off, and he also said unto his disciples. So Christ is talking with the disciples, but you have the Pharisees and the Sadducees and the publicans that are in the audience listening to what he is saying. Let's scroll down. When you get to verse number 14, it tells you, and the Pharisees also, who were covetous, heard all these things, and they derided him. So what are we seeing throughout Luke chapter 15 and Luke chapter 16? That Christ has an audience of Pharisees, he has an audience of scribes, he has an audience of publicans and sinners and his disciples, and he's speaking to them in parables. That is told to you at the beginning of the 15th chapter of Luke. The only reason why it's separated by chapter and verse is the convenience for you to find it. You can clearly see in verse number 1 that this verse is letting you know this chapter is building off the previous chapter. That's why this article is here. Point number 2. The books have been divided into chapters for convenience, right? But they're not authoritative. The chapter and verse divisions were added to the Bible for the sake of convenience. There is no authoritative basis for the divisions we now find. No, why? Because sometimes you have one chapter, like Luke 16, that continues to build off of what was going on in Luke chapter 15. I hope. Now, I'm going to come out for a second. I'm going to ask y'all in the chat. Did that make sense? Did that make sense? If that makes sense to y'all, put 1 in the chat, please. Let me know. If that made sense, I need for you guys to put 1 in the chat and let me know. So now you guys understand how to combat when a Christian will tell you that Luke 16 is not literal, it's literal, not a parable. Now you understand. The best way to demonstrate that, let me come back and share my screen again. The best way to demonstrate that is by using a red letter edition Bible. It's the best way to, because now you can see everything here is in red, everything. right? So we know that this is just Christ continuing to speak, right? And you come to the beginning of the chapter, and you could clearly see that this is building off of the last chapter. And he also means in addition. So he was saying something before. So you got to go to the previous chapter. And when you start off the previous chapter, it tells you Christ was talking in parables and who was present when he was talking. I hope you brothers and sisters understand what it is I'm saying. Because this madness is going on Clubhouse. And unfortunately, Clubhouse doesn't work like YouTube, where you really are able to demonstrate anything because it's an audio-only app. Let me show you, brothers and sisters, something else. Let me just show you, brothers and sisters, something else real quick, too. I'm not really gonna matter of fact, yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'm going to do it. God damn it, I'm gonna do it. Let me share my screen. Okay, you know what? Actually, for the sake of brevity, I'm not gonna go too far into it, but I'm gonna show you guys this real quick. And I will deal with this another time. When you guys deal with Slovakia, make sure you guys have the right view. Yes. When you guys deal with this scripture right here, because this comes up a lot with the Christians too. This scripture right here. We come to my slideshow. Let's go to the next slide. Right here, Galatians 5:1. This is another scripture that's famous for Christians to try to use and say that Christ abolished the law. When Christ died, the law was abolished. That is a lie. That is a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. And they come here and they teach that. They teach that, right? This guy right here is Pastor Porkchop, right? I'm not going to play the video right now. This is one of my lessons that I do in the academy. I'm not going to play the video right now. But Pastor Porkchop, when you read, when he breaks down Galatians chapter 5, verse 1, he says that this scripture means that Christ did away with the law. No. The same rule applies here. Galatians chapter 5 is building off of Galatians chapter 4. So when the scriptures speak about Christ making us free and the yoke of bondage, you don't have to make it up. You don't have to come up with your own idea. All you have to do is go back to chapter 4 and you will find out what the freedom and the bondage is. When you look at Galatians chapter 4, verse 22, you guys can see it on my screen. I'm not going to go over this right now. This is a lesson for the academy, but I'm just showing you verse 24. It's an allegory for the two covenants. The bondage represents the old covenant, which we were in bondage to till Christ came, and Christ died and made us free from being in bondage to that old covenant so that we can enter into bond, we can be brought into the bond of the new or renewed covenant. The freedom is the new or renewed covenant. That's what it's talking about. This is not saying Christ freed us from the law. That is a lie. But because chapter 4 and chapter 5 are separated, the Christians came up with a doctrine. And I'm going to leave that there. Y'all all right? Hopefully you guys are okay. Hopefully you guys are all right. I'm going to show you guys one more thing and then I'm going to head on out. I need some more of you guys to hit that like button now. Let's go. I'm sharing information. I need more of you guys to hit the like button. I'm going to show you guys one more thing and I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. All right. Yeah. Okay. So last week you guys were asking me, I was showing you guys this PowerPoint, right? I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I'm going to show you guys something last week that I was showing you guys, right? Most people are not familiar with what a cryptogram is, right? You don't know what a cryptogram is. A cryptogram is basically, for lack of a better word, when somebody encodes something into some writing. They kind of encode something in the writing that's like encoded for somebody else to be able to pick up that they encoded it there later, right? So there's a doctrine out there that William Shakespeare used a cryptogram by encoding his name in the 46th chapter of Psalms. I went over this last week, but the power went out last week because of the storm. I didn't finish, right? So I went over all this. There's videos on YouTube pushing this garbage, right? But I showed you guys last week, this is where we left off. I showed you guys last week that even when you look in the Masoretic text, you can see the word shake and spare 1,000 years before William Shakespeare ever lived. This is the word shakes in Hebrew. This is the word spare in Hebrew. This is from the Masoretic text. You guys can see the arrow right there. It's from the Masoretic text. This is 1,000 years before William Shakespeare ever lived. So that's the dumbest doctrine ever. And I had a comedic dude spit this to me on Clubhouse. That's why I did this PowerPoint. That was ridiculous. Now, what I want to show you guys, I'm skipping all this stuff, right? These are Bibles that are before the KJV, because according to this philosophy, William Shakespeare encoded his name in Psalms 46 in the King James Bible. Well, that would be cool, except for one little problem. Just one little problem. The Bibles before the KJV have the same words. Look, the Bishop's Bible of 1568 has the word shake in verse 3, just like the KJV. The Geneva Bible of 1560 has the word shake, just like the KJV. And then you guys can see the KJV at the bottom. So if William Shakespeare put his name in the KJV, how did his name end up in the other Bibles that was before it? It didn't, because that's dumb. It's just dumb. Right? And the same thing for the word spare in the Bishop's Bible in 1568, in the Geneva Bible in 1560, and in the KJV. It's a dummy doctrine. But you know, a lot of these comedic dudes, they teach what we call ghetto scholarship, and expect and get mad when you try to correct them. Let's continue. Right now, what I was trying to show you guys last week, right, and I'm probably going to end it right here because I'm not going to go through this whole thing, is the confusion comes in historically because there was a guy by the name of William Alexander, not William Shakespeare, but William Alexander. That is the guy that people are trying to say. They're trying, but they don't know the history, but they're trying to talk about William Alexander. That's what they're trying to do. Let me show you. This is a book called The Cradle King, right? In this book, it goes into William Alexander, right? But I'm not going to really read this one right here. The typing is a little small, so I'm going to have to fix this slide, whatever. But I'm going to show you guys another book. You guys can get this book. I'm giving you a gem. This is why I'm going to end it for right now. I ain't giving nothing else away right now. You can get this book as a PDF for free online right now. For free. I did. You can too. Let's look right here. See where the arrow is right here? King James. Look at this. It says, King James called on the assistance of Sir William. He appointed himself the judge of the merits of the different versions submitted to him, and generally preferred his own above the rest, even though, as stated in the insistence recorded in the letters just quoted, it was the worst of the three. It is probable, however, seeing that the Psalms were not printed until the king's death, that Alexander availed himself of the permission granted to him by the King Charles to consider and review the meter and poesy thereof, to alter the worst passages, and to supply new versions of the worst rendered Psalms. In fact, as shown by Mr. Layton, there is considerable difference between the editions of the Psalms of the King James 1631 and the 1636. So what I'm showing you, brothers and sisters, right, I know I went a little fast, but that's all right. I'll go over this another day when I have more time. But I'm just showing you, brothers, what we missed last week. This guy's name is William Alexander, and he was hired by King James in 1611 when they were translating the Bible to attempt to help translate the book of Psalms. But the king died before the project was ever finished. So the project was not finished in the king's lifetime. And his son, Charles I, gave Alexander the right to go ahead and to finish the translation after the king died. So Alexander finished the translation in 1631 and 1636. So that the original 1611 was not translated by King James. It was not translated by William Shakespeare or William Alexander. None of the three. None of the three. So that's all pseudo. And all you got to do is just do a little bit of research, and you can find all these things out. And all this stuff is circulating on Clubhouse, all of it. People just stating stuff, and you have to let it live because it's an audio app. So all you could do is argue with people. So I said, you know what I'm gonna do? I haven't been live on the channel in a little while. I'm gonna go live on the channel, and I'm gonna show my people just some of these things real quick, so that people understand. If you are on the app and you hear me saying these things, now you've seen it. That I'm not just on there talking. Whether they argue me down or not, I'm not on there just talking. We know exactly what we are talking about. All right? All righty. All righty. Hopefully, what I just showed you, brothers and sisters, was helpful. So once again, it was William Alexander that translated the Psalms, not William Shakespeare. Also, as I demonstrated to you guys, some of you guys are just coming into the house. I'll show you guys one more time for the people that's coming to the house. Chapters and verses were added to the English Bible in the year 1560. This is from one of you guys' favorite websites, Blue Letter Bible. Everybody goes here to look up Hebrew and Greek words, but you don't read the articles on here, but this is a great article. Chapters and verses were added to the Bible in 1560. That is important, and they're not authoritative. And that is important because when you come to doctrines like Luke 16 about the rich man and the beggar in verse 20, right, on down, the Christians are saying it's literal. It is not literal because Luke 16 is building off of Luke chapter 15, and Luke chapter 15 starts off by telling you that Christ was talking in parables. Right here in verse 3. He was talking in parables. That's why I pulled up the red letter edition for you guys to be able to see that. He was talking in parables. When you come to chapter 16, the chapter starts off by saying, and he said also. Said also means that it's continuing a thought that was being said previously. Previously where? In chapter 15. This is simple stuff. All right? All right. And if you're late and you missed everything else, then you have got to go back and watch it again. Sister Latoya, you're welcome. More praises. I'm glad it's helpful. The least you guys can do is, my people's is saying in the chat, is to make sure you guys hit the like button, show your brother Priest Danyaahla some love. Listen, you guys see what's scrolling across the screen at the bottom of the screen right there, just a couple of announcements, right? The academy that I'm doing, the new academy, is starting on the 17th of October. For all you brothers that email me that wanted to be a part of the new academy to do the 6 months academy, you guys should be getting email from me this week with a follow-up and also an introduction video. Some of you brothers that's in other camps are asking me to do the academy. I'm going to tell you again, you got to talk to your elder. I don't care. You can come in, but you got to talk to your elder. I don't want to hear nothing. All right, we're going to go in the academy. I'm going to go in. If y'all think this is something, I got some stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go in. But you got to talk to your elder. The brothers and sisters that want to join the camp, you guys send me the email. I got you. You're going to get the introductory video. The academy starts the 17th, and we starting off hitting the ground running. I got some good stuff for you guys. Most High. Listen, I'm sitting here at work, man, with a handful of books, y'all. You know what I'm saying? I'm always working with a handful of books, doing research, doing what I got to do. So the job is never done till we get the kingdom. You understand what I'm saying? One more thing real quick. I just want to make a general statement and a general thank you, right? Everybody that puts the spirit on you to go to our website, which is scrolling at the bottom, and hit the donation app and make a donation. Thank y'all. That's not shade to those of y'all that don't. It's all love. Just if you love me, hit the like button on my video. That's it. But for those of y'all that the spirit moves y'all, thank you. It definitely helps. I appreciate it. Keep doing it. And that's pretty much it, man. I don't think I missed anything. Y'all can tell me if I missed something before I get out of here. Did I miss anything? Did I forget anything? If I did, let me know. I'll share some. I'm wondering, should I let me see. Let's see. You guys have been let's see. Yeah, I think I touched on everything. I was going to show y'all something else, but sometimes my videos are too long. Lewis, it's over the internet. You email me, so you were corresponding. It's over the computer. You were corresponding with Kazak, so you already know it's over the computer, and you'll be hearing from me directly because I'm going to be reaching out to you brothers now for the next couple of weeks. All right. So with that, brothers and sisters, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Thank y'all for supporting. You know what I'm saying? And keep on subscribing to Maccabeestv, and I will be back with something good for you brothers and sisters again real soon. My Patreons, I got you. All the Academy lessons are going to go on the Patreon. All the Academy lessons will go on the Patreon. All right? Shalom.
I want to praise you, Yahweh. I want to thank you, Yahweh. I'm so grateful, Yahweh. I want to thank you, Yahweh.
For the promise, life is a blessing, and life is a lesson. Life is a setback, and life is progression. Life is uneasy at times, life is comfortable. Life will lift you up, and at times, life will humble you. Life is a gift, you better thank the Lord for it. Every chance you get, someone is less fortunate. Life goes in circles, life throws you curveballs. Life can be deceiving like preachers in the church halls. Life isn't promised. If I could be honest, the fact that I'm alive, that time has me astonished. Cause I came from the underground, being tossed around, being lost and found. Now they adore the sound of the priest, far from a nuance. Verses are proverbs, written's are the new songs. Another song for the blocks and the avenues. Everything is plain, I don't speak to them in parables.
I wanna praise you, Yahweh.
I wanna praise you.
I wanna thank you, Yahweh. I'm so grateful.
I'm so grateful.
Yahweh. I wanna thank you, Yahweh.
For the power, I see the world through different eyes. Every Sunday got the preacher telling different lies, hearing things that I really couldn't visualize. Should've listened, Big said you'd be hypnotized. I was a victim too, I say respectfully. They all up in the soup, don't know the recipe. Talking about I'm not who I was bred to be. Count me out, man, who made you the referee? Trying to get stripes, trying to cloud chase. At 19, I made an about face. Thanks to Christ, it's also about grace. And they lied when they said it ain't about race. But that's another song, I ain't the first to tell you. Woke up on a deeper and a surface level. Learned the laws and the Lord's changed my attitude. And the song is to show you how a gratitude. I'm so grateful.
I wanna praise you,